And welcome back to Slushie Review. This is Keith.
And this is Chris.
And today we are reviewing Godzilla, King of Monsters. This is our second movie in our three-part series of Godzilla and King Kong.
Yes.
So last week we did Kong Skull Island. This week we're doing Godzilla, King of Monsters. And this movie is made in 2019. Yeah. I'm right about that. I know that. Mm-hmm. I just make sure.
I'm not going to look it up.
That's fair. Same. Definitely not looking it up because I already looked it up. That's why I thought I was right on the other one. I was like, I looked it up, and I was like, no, I think that was the other Godzilla, not King Kong. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so the first movie we did was Kong Skull Island. We gave that a 4 and a 5.
Yeah.
Respectively. And we're going to do this one.
Respectively.
And then next week we're going to do Godzilla vs. King Kong.
Yes.
So.
And get their shot in the ring.
Yeah, same. So there's that.
$18,000 and a chance at the title. Let's put them in a hammerlock. Let's keep grinding on them.
Jim said can't keep it down. Either way. Let's get this road on the show. And thank you for listening. We definitely appreciate it. Make sure you follow us at Slushie Review on Twitter at Slushie Review. You can also check us out on YouTube. Just search Slushie Review. We pop up. We're the first result. And then check us out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Google Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. And also, coming soon, Instagram. Follow us on IG.
The gram.
At Slushie Review Podcast.
Yes.
We just started it. Need some followers. Need some likes. Okay. Good job, Keith.
There it is.
There it is.
We'll pat yourself on the back there.
Let's get into the plot with a young Chris.
All right. Godzilla. So there's this guy, Godzilla. He's the king of some monsters. That's the movie. I'm tired today.
Roll credits.
No. Okay, so previous to this movie, there was a movie just called Godzilla, which I watched, but I don't really remember a lot of it. So the two main people in this movie have a daughter and a son. The son died in the first one, I think because of Godzilla. From the context of this one, is because of Godzilla. Again, I saw it, don't remember it.
And we're not reviewing it
yeah,
because I think it was boring.
Godzilla must have also killed Bryan Cranston in that one too, because he ain't in this one.
He also killed the twins, Pietro and Maximoff. Or no, that's your last name. Pietro and Wanda. Pietro.
I forget that were they in the first one?
Yeah.
No,
I told you, I was like, yeah, they played husband and wife in this one, in that one, and they played brother and sister in the MCU.
Oh dear.
Yeah, because that's the only reason why I know that is because that was a thing.
Oh my.
Same. So yeah, that was the whole thing about it, yeah.
Alright, so in this one, the doctors, Emma and Mark, thank you. I couldn't remember his name. Have a daughter named Maddie.
Yes.
Yes, she's the survivor.
11.
The survivor of the group. Yes, 11. They the two doctors, they are divorced due to Godzilla, really. Godzilla's driving this family apart. They had irreconcilable differences. And apparently she got custody of 11 because they are in, China. They're in like a rainforest in China. 11 is cooking breakfast. 11's cooking breakfast for her mom. She can't cook bacon worth of shit. They decide, and they say, "Oh, hey, let's have our normal life. Sorry about your dad. We just couldn't get along. But your brother died, and it's his fault." Anyway, I think a giant moth is about to hatch outside of our trailer. So they go to this little facility. They work for Monarch, or Emma works for Monarch, or with Monarch. The same, what's the word I'm looking for? organization, outfit, whatever, from, I'm guessing, the previous Godzilla, but definitely from Kong Skull Island, which was founded by John Goodman. They're continuing their work with, they call them Titans, kaiju, whatever, giant fucking monsters, whatever term you want to use for it. They have found that there's several of them around the world in, I don't know, various states of hibernation or resting or just being sealed away. They go to the hatching of Mothra, which hatches from its little egg thing into it looks like more like a big larva. It's because it's not a moth yet.
Yeah.
And it starts wrecking shit up because it hatches, and everyone immediately points a gun at it. And Mothra knows that you don't point a gun at Mothra, or it's going to fuck your shit up. It's going to start Spider-Man into the wall by spitting silk at you. He's just so... Mothra's in there just... Tss, 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 putting people on walls, and Emma runs out with her laptop, her giant fucking chunky laptop, and is like, I can handle this. Opens it up, and it's a device called the Orca, which is very important to the plot of the movie. It is a sound generation system that uses things called bioacoustics, which I don't know if that's a real thing in science, but it's real enough for this movie that the kaiju, titans, whatever you want to call them, seem to all communicate with each other through sound waves, like they say, like whales. So by using certain sound waves, they can convey to these monsters like, hey, we're not a threat, or you shouldn't mess with me, or whatever. Mm-hmm. So she sends Mothra a sound signal. Mothra chills out, and everything's fine. Until not Christopher Plummer and his gang of ragtag eco-terrorists kick the door in and start shooting up the joint. Longtime fans of the podcast will know that I think I've seen Christopher Plummer in a million fucking movies. I have seen one movie, I think, that had him in it, and it was Knives Out. Was it not?
Yes.
Yeah, that's it.
But as a person.
As a person. I've seen Up, where he voices somebody. I've seen, what was the other one?
I don't know, but
I think it was another Pixar movie.
Yeah.
It was a voice. So I've seen movies with him in it, but I couldn't pick the man out of a lineup to save my life, apparently. But I thought it was him. It's not him. He comes into place, starts shooting up the joint with his terrorists, and they kidnap... They kill, like, a lot of the people with her. They kidnap Emma and her daughter and the Echo, or the Orca device. Word gets out to Mark that this has happened, and he's like, oh, Godzilla ruined my life. Godzilla ruined my marriage. Godzilla killed my son. I'm going to do something about it. I want Godzilla dead. He's working with another, like, I think he's working with the military to accomplish this end at some point.
Yeah.
And they discover, oh, my wife's been taken prisoner by this terrorist group. She has a device that can communicate with Titans, kaiju, whatever, but also with Godzilla. And, like, is the way to find Godzilla and track him or whatever. So, like, okay, we should go save her. They go to save her. She doesn't want to be saved. Eventually, they learn that she doesn't want to be saved. She's working with this group to awaken the Titans because she believes that whenever the Titans in the previous movie, when Godzilla fought a giant monster, after the area was destroyed, there was the residual unique radiation to these creatures left behind caused exponential life growth of, like, plant life and everything. Her theory is that the Earth is dying, and I think she referred to them as like a fever, like humanity's an infection, and to fight the infection, the Earth is releasing a fever, the Titans, to cleanse humanity and, like, restart the planet. Her plan is to, one by one, go around the world and slowly unleash these creatures and have them start, like, you know, she's like, oh yeah, people might die, people will die, people do die. As a result of her plan, we're going to let them out one at a time, and everything will gradually get better. Well, she knocked over that whole fucking set of dominoes immediately by waking up the wrong one. Mm-hmm. they awaken Monster Zero, King Ghidorah, I almost said three-legged, three-headed flying dragon that can breathe lightning and can kick the shit out of Godzilla when Godzilla's not ready for him. They awaken this monster. Godzilla shows up because Godzilla's pissed that this thing's in his yard. They fight. Things don't go well for Godzilla. Godzilla gets bitched out pretty well. King Ghidorah flies off and starts waking up other monsters around the world. Turns out King Ghidorah is an alien invasive species that came from space to Earth and was wrecking shit up. And I'm guessing Godzilla kicked its ass once in the past because they said that there's old cave paintings of them fighting. There's legends of them fighting. Yeah. And they say that their rivalry is like the stuff of legends. So they determine Godzilla's the only one who can get us out of this mess that, these terrorists got us into. So Godzilla fights a bunch of monsters. Or, not really. Godzilla fights one monster a few times. And then he has his tag team partner, Mothra, comes in. And they 3D.
She fights a couple people.
Mothra does some fighting too.
Yeah.
They 3D'd a couple people together, and it was pretty cool.
That's fair.
There was monster fights. We'll get to the rest, I think, in our likes and dislikes. But the end goal of it is monsters fight, and we get to watch it and enjoy it. So I'm going to wrap up this horrible plot and throw it over to Keith for the cast of Godzilla King of the Monsters.
I thought you did a great job,
well, personally. Thank you.
That's just me, though.
Thank you.
And everybody else, you better like it.
Yeah, because we said so.
Upon looking at the cast, you scroll down to IMDb, and it says quotes. And they quoted literally the first thing that's said in the movie. When they do the quotes, they do quotes that are popular. And it's just Dr. Mark Russell saying, Andrew. I kid you not. That's the first quote I see. That is fucking hilarious. Sad that the son died, but that's funny. Okay. To the cast. We have Kyle Chandler. I only know him from Grey's Anatomy. He was also actually in the original King Kong movie as somebody totally different that came out in 2005. So the original being 2005. Next up, we have Vera Farmiga. I don't really know how to say her last name, but Dr. Emma Russell, that's Dr. Mark Russell's ex-wife. She's technically the antagonist of this story, I guess.
At least co-antagonist.
Yeah, fair. She releases the antagonist, but it is what it is. Either way.
Yeah,
she's been in everything.
She releases Charles Dance.
Fair. Let's see. We have Millie Bobby Brown. She's 11. In this movie, she barely made it to 12.
Hey!
It is what it is.
I lost it when you made that joke during the movie.
It was a good time, right?
I thought it was hilarious.
I was like, yes, got one. I'm going on stage after this. We have Ken Watanabe. Ken Watanabe's great. He was in Detective Pikachu. Go listen to that episode. He was also in Inception. What else did I say he was in? Oh, he was in Batman Begins.
Yeah.
He was Ra's al Ghul. Cast favorite, guys. We also have Dr. Ling, Ziyi Zhang. We have Bradley Whitford. He's in the movie called Get Out. He plays Dr. Rick Stanton. Sally Hawkins, she gets killed pretty quick. I never knew her. I didn't know who she was. But yeah, I still don't. Next up, we have Charles Dance from one of my favorite movies, Last Action Hero. He plays Alan Jonah.
A very good movie.
Where else did he play in that you said? Did you? Oh, you didn't say? Okay, maybe you did.
I was listing them at one point. It was only like 3 things.
He was in Aliens. Tywin Lannister.
Yeah, he was in Game of Thrones.
Yeah. I knew you knew him from somewhere. I'm like, what'd you say he was in? And you're like, I don't know. I'm like, what didn't you tell me? And you say something about Iron Mask. Did you see that?
Movie is a piece of shit.
Oh, you saw it? I've never seen it.
It's not good.
He's in a ton of movies, but he's in Underworld, which is a great show.
That movie, not Underworld. Sorry, I won't talk about it.
That's fair.
Iron Mask misrepresented itself to me.
Oh, really?
Yes.
What did you think about it?
The trailer of the movie was Jackie Chan fighting Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh.
That was like 5 minutes of the movie.
Oh.
They were in, I'd say, a sum total of 15 minutes of the movie altogether.
Both of them?
Yes.
Separately or just together? Or total?
Maybe 20 minutes total.
Were they not part of the rest of the movie? So they weren't the main part of the movie?
They were at the beginning of the movie and then the very end of the movie.
Oh. What was happening in the middle?
Bunch of
Sounds
bullshit.
like nothing.
Bunch of nonsense that didn't need to happen.
That's fair.
They had a sweet fight scene and it was all downhill after that. But that's it. I won't go any further about that piece of shit Iron Mask.
That's fair. So wait, did we or did we not talk about this Thomas Middleditch guy?
We did.
Was he in the last movie?
His voice was in the last one.
As what?
A voice. I don't know. It might have. I think it might have been at the end.
We did say it, right?
Yes.
Huh.
But he's physically in this one.
Yeah.
I want to say it was at the end of the last one because they do like a flash forward thing.
Huh. Interesting. Either way, he's in it again. Kudos to him. We have Aisha Hinds. I'm pretty sure she was in... I don't really know what she was in. I've seen her before, but she was in 911, which is a TV show. She was in this, Godzilla. I thought she was in Orange is the New Black, but I was wrong. But she looks so familiar. Either way, I've seen her in other stuff, and I just don't know what.
Oh, I see CSI Miami and NCIS Los Angeles on there. I know those are things that you might watch.
You already know I saw it. I was like, but I don't remember. But she also could have been, though.
Okay, she was in Weeds. Okay.
Oh, Weeds. She was in Desperate Housewives. She was also in Star Trek Into Darkness. Mm-hmm. I gotta watch those again. Have you seen those?
The Star Trek movies?
Mm-hmm.
I think I only saw the first one.
What were they? I saw what I thought was the first one, but then I saw a second one, and they visit. This also happened in real life too, not Star Trek, but they visit a secluded world with no visitors, and they were like, "Hey, we're gonna visit, and we're gonna give them, technology and stuff," and then they start killing them because they don't want that, and I'm like, okay, well that happened like maybe 5 years ago, 4 years ago, same thing happened. They a group of cameramen, no military, group of cameramen went to explore this habited island that they've never made contact with. They knew about them, but they didn't know who they were. Mm-hmm. So of course they went like, hey, let's go talk to them. And they killed like 3 of them before they even got off the beach. They were like, no, they'd never had their pictures taken, and they killed 3 people. And I remember people were like, we should go to war and invade them. You went to their house and was like, hey, let me take a picture of you. For what? No. They don't want our technology. They're doing fine by themselves. So, I mean, serves them right if you ask me.
Brie Larson was taking all kinds of photos in the last movie and she didn't get killed.
I mean,
to be fair.
What's a movie?
Yeah.
That was real life.
Yeah.
They died.
She was also smiling a lot.
That's fair.
So they might not have been threatened by her.
Also, either way. Let's see. O'Shea Jackson Jr., Ice Cube Jr., he's in this as Chief Warrant Officer Barnes. David Stratharn, I know him. I've seen him before. He was in the original Godzilla. LA Confidential, if you've ever seen it. He was in a TV show called Billions with The Rock. That Billions was with The Rock, sorry. Yeah, sorry. Billions wasn't with The Rock. But there was a TV show called Billions about basically money. He was also in The Blacklist with my guy, the Lizard King.
Ultron.
Same. Let's see. We have Anthony Ramos. He is in this movie. Staff Sergeant Martinez. Let's see. Let's keep going. Oh, there was a judge in this movie. Her name is CCH Pounder. That's her real name. She's a veteran actress. I love her. She's hilarious. She's awesome. I don't feel like she gets enough credit, but she has been in almost everything. Speaking of a movie that we just talked about, she was in Avatar. Mm-hmm. She was in RoboCop 3. She was Amanda Waller in Batman Arkham Underworld.
Oh.
I mean, rightfully so.
Oh, a lot of the Batman Arkham things.
Yup. She was in NCIS, which I know her from, I'm sure. She's been in everything. She was in Law and Order for some years as a lawyer on the show. She was also an Orphan. Awesome. That's also another actress that was in this movie, Vera Farmiga. She was also in Orphan. Let's see, Joe Morton. We got a young Silas Stone. He plays Dr. Houston Brooks. He plays the grown-up version of Houston Brooks from Kong Skull Island.
Ah.
Yep, Houston Brooks. Same guy. So he ended up, at the end of Kong Skull Island, he ended up running Monarch. Joe Morton, who is amazing, is running Monarch now. Do you remember a movie I kind of talked about in a couple podcasts ago about him being in? If you had to guess, do you remember?
Wait, Joe Morton?
Mm-hmm.
Not Justice League, Zack Snyder cut?
Not Justice League. Not Terminator 2 either.
No, oh shit, I know.
Yeah, come on. He was in Speed, I forgot about that.
That's not the one though?
No, that's not it. He was also in Paycheck, which is a great movie. That's not it either.
I know you telling me. I remember you telling me it, but
I'll give you a hint.
The name of it.
You ready?
No.
Kurt Russell. It's not the MCU, by the way.
Big Trouble in Little China?
Never seen it.
Roadhouse? Wait, no, was he in Roadhouse? No, I don't think Kurt Russell was in Roadhouse.
John Leguizamo.
Executive Decision?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Joe Morton was an executive decision. I love it. I can't believe you remember the name. That's good.
Look at me go. Yeah. Never seen it.
He
just at Super Mario Brothers.
No, that's
with
fair.
Dennis Hopper.
Yeah, that is fair. No, he was an executive decision as he was a lot of things, but he was supposed to disarm like some bomb or something, and then when Steven Seagal died, the only reason why I watched the movie, he ended up like breaking his spine or something.
Yeah, because he's when they had to like push him through the tube or something.
Yep. It was a whole thing. So, yeah, I love him. He's so great. He was also in Terminator 2, which is my favorite Terminator, because that was the first one I ever watched. And then I tried to watch the first one, and I was like, this is boring. Why did this get a sequel? But I'm also happy it got a sequel.
Why did Terminator? Why did they make a prequel to Terminator 2?
Say before it came out. What? Like, I literally watched the first one, and I was like, I don't care.
Why always with the coconut?
But then the rest of them were great.
I miss the original.
I just watched the newest one that came out called Dark Fate, where Linda Hamilton, who was Sarah Connor, she's all grown up. Because after Terminator 2, because they restart the franchise. So after Terminator 2, since they don't kill John Connor, have you seen Terminator 2?
No.
So they go back to kill the Terminator, and the first one goes to kill Sarah Connor, which is Linda Hamilton. And then John Connor sends back his father to go save her from the Terminator. So this is how it worked out. So Sarah Connor is, let's say, 1980. Okay, she meets she meets Kyle something. I don't remember his name. His name was Kyle, though. She meets Kyle, and she doesn't know he's from the future.
Okay.
Has sex with her. John Connor's born. But before all that happens, the Terminator comes back from the future to kill her. sent back by Skynet, the robots. So they send her back. So John Connor is not born. Okay, Kyle is from the future. They sent John Connor, who's also in the future at this point, sends Kyle back. Says, "Hey, listen, you're gonna meet this lady. I want you to save her." Blah blah blah. He doesn't tell her that's his mom. He doesn't tell him anything. He falls in love with her. That's how John's born. So it's like a circle, right? Okay. So it's a whole thing. So send him back, whatever. So saves him from the Terminator. Terminator dies. So that's Arnold Schwarzenegger. So then in the second one, they send another T-1000, I think, or something like that. And this guy is, he's a different kind of robot. He's an advanced robot.
Is he the liquid one?
Yes, he's the liquid one. Okay. So they send them to kill John Connor. And then John Connor sends back a reprogrammed Terminator 100 or something, Arnold Schwarzenegger, to go back and protect John Connor. And so they meet up with Sarah Connor because she's in an insane asylum because she's like, the father of my baby is from the future and they're going to kill everybody. And they're like, you're getting locked up. One for deposit, please. So they lock her up. So then he saves John Connor. And then John Connor's son, he's like 15 at a time. So, of course, he treats them all like cool hand tricks and I'll be back and all this other stuff. He teaches them that in the movie. And so he's like, are we going to get you to safety? He's like, well, we got to go get my mom. It's like, that's not my mission. And then he's like, you got to listen to me.
Is that the one where, like, he has him call his mom and it's like, your mother's dead?
Probably.
Like they're on the phone, but I forget. I just see a bunch of memes about it.
Adopted parents. They get so the new Terminator that coming to kill him. He can take the transformation of anybody as long as he touches them. If he touches them, more than likely they're dead. So he was talking. So in the movie. He calls home. She's like, hey, where are you? Blah, blah. And it's her. And then the camera zooms out. And then she has the mom, or he has the mom, like his hand becomes a knife and it's through her face. Oh. And he's like, where are you, honey? Oh, okay. Come home soon or something. And then, he kills her. Everyone's dead. So, yes, that is it. Okay. That's T2. So that's a whole thing. Then T3 was great. Arnold Schwarzenegger comes back to not save John Connor, but to save his wife, his future wife. At the time, they don't know each other. And he's like, you guys are going to get married. And she's like, ugh. And he's like, no way. And then he's like, yep.
Way.
Yeah. And so then another Terminator comes back who's a female now, whooping the shit out of Arnold.
I've seen that. I've seen that scene where, like, did she beat his ass in a bathroom?
Probably. She beats the shit out of him all day. Then after that, there was Terminator Salvation with Christian Bale and the guy from Avatar. I can't think of his name. Either way, Christian Bale was okay in that.
Okay.
But the guy doesn't know he's a Terminator. Like, he thinks he's a human.
Oh.
And they capture him. They think he's a human because he saved some people. And then they capture him. And then he does something. He gets knocked out. And they have him all chained up. And they're like, why am I chained up? He's like, and Christian Bale's talking to him like face to face, and he's like, I don't like you, blah, blah, all this stuff. Because he's John Connor, Christian Bale is. And he's like, okay, but like, why am I locked up? Let me go. And then he rips off his shirt, and you can see his insides, and it's all like mechanical, because he doesn't know. So he looks down, and he's like, no, like all freaked out and shit. He's like, that's why you were killed the whole time. He thought he was surviving, but they were letting him go. And he saved some other people, and then he had to go back to the base. And they were letting him go because he was already a robot. He didn't know that. So they were trying to get him to the base so that the computers can just blow him up and blow away John Connor. And then after that, I forget which one was next. And then I just saw, the one with the girl from Solo, who was from
Emilia Clarke?
Yeah, Games of Thrones. She played Sarah Connor as a younger version of Sarah Connor and the whole thing. And then Arnold came back again as a young Arnold.
I should check these movies out.
I love Terminator. And then Dark Fate, that's on Hulu, that's on Hulu right now. It's a great reboot. Love it.
Okay.
Either way, that was the cast for Godzilla King of Monsters, because there's nobody else I can remember. So let's get into some. If I see somebody, Godzilla in this as Godzilla. We also have King Ghidorah as King Ghidorah. Mothra is Mothra, and Rodan is Rodan, and that is it. All right, let's get to some likes. Because Terminator is not the movie we're doing.
It's not?
Lo and behold, it is not. Likes. You or me?
You go first. I went first.
Okay, I have very few likes.
For everything the last time.
That's fine. That's okay. Let me preface this with, I've been talking a lot, so that's okay, because I only have 2 likes. I have more dislikes than likes. And we'll go from there.
Okay.
This was my first time seeing this movie as well as Kong Skull Island. So to be fair, I was just watching the movie. This movie is a good movie. I liked almost every part of it. To be fair, I did. First, like monsters. It's the same like I gave Kong Skull Island. Monsters
Incorporated.
Same. Godzilla was great. What they also did in this movie, they brought the monsters out right away. They didn't bring Godzilla out right away, but they brought the monsters out right away. Mm-hmm. You see Mothra right away. Then you go see King Ghidorah. And then Godzilla shows up. And then you see 12 other monsters. Great. Loved every single monster. It was amazing. Ghidorah gets his head cut off and then grows back. They deplete all the oxygen, which is what the fuck, first off. And they deplete all the oxygen. He stays alive. Godzilla dies for the most part.
Damn near.
Right. And then he sits on top of a volcano, shouts out to everyone else because he's the alpha now.
Shout out.
Yeah, and he's just amazing. I love him. I love everything about Ghidorah, honestly. If it wasn't for Godzilla, I would hope Ghidorah would win. Am I saying his name right? Ghidorah? I can't be sure.
Ghidorah, I don't know.
Just don't call me late for dinner.
There you go.
Next up, a spoiler alert, at the very end, there is a sacrifice by Dr. Emma Russell that I loved. I did not like her throughout this entire movie. Yeah. And it was funny because I told Chris, I said, wait, so is she with the people? The evil people, the Charles Dance people, Christopher Plummer people?
Yeah.
And
God damn it.
The
Max Vine Side Out people.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he goes, they give you an answer. And then he says, it's still a shitty answer. Here's the thing. And we'll get to that. It's part of my dislikes. Anyway, so, yeah. I was just like, I don't like her. And then at the end, they're doing the orca thing, and she's typing it in, and she goes, go ahead and go. I'll be right behind you. I'm like, that's never a good sign. She's going to die, and she's going to try to save her kid who hates her. Her kid hates her.
Now.
And her husband, Ben, hating her. Mark, Ben, hating her. And then she sacrificed herself, and she dies a death. Whew. Let me tell you. Because Ghidorah hits her with the lightning bolt. It had medium effectiveness. She flips over her car. She lands on the road. She gets out. And what does she say? Oh, long live the king. Yep. I was like, it's a bit much, but okay. And then fucking radioactive Godzilla comes back and fries everything. She wasn't dead yet. She died after that.
He microwaved her.
Oh, absolutely. He put her. He was like, Hot Pocket. Hot Pocket. Do you ever watch him?
Jim Gaffigan?
Yeah.
Oh, hilarious.
Yeah, he's so funny.
Dead Pocket.
Donut Pocket. He's so funny.
So I wasn't sure if you were doing the jiggle. I was going to is that a Jim Gaffigan?
Yes,
nice.
It is.
Good
we
stuff.
watched all his stand-ups on Netflix during the quarantine last year.
Nice.
So yeah, it was a good time. I was like, this guy's hilarious.
He is.
I was like, he's so funny.
He had his own show for a hot minute, and I remember watching it, and then I think it only got like a season.
He also had a show on Conan's show.
Yes. Are you talking about Pale Force?
Yes.
That was fucking hilarious.
And his nipples?
Yes, he was shooting lasers out of his nipples, and he was like big and muscular. And Conan was a little scrawny, and he always talked like this. And he always called him a little girl.
He was so white.
Oh, what's the problem, little girl?
The dumbest. I used to watch Conan all the time.
Same. Before he went to TBS or whatever,
Yeah.
I used to watch Conan on NBC every night.
Yeah, because I didn't want to. Because I used to watch all the late night shows.
Fuck Jay Leno.
So I didn't. So David Letterman was whatever, but I was like, I don't really like him.
No.
And then Craig Ferguson started coming on after.
Ferguson was funny as shit.
And I was like, Craig Ferguson's away. And then Conan came on after Jay Leno,
Yep.
and I would switch back and forth,
Yep,
and I'm like,
same.
this is great. And then there was somebody before Craig Ferguson. I used to like him too, and I don't remember who it was. But there were some good people on late night.
Yeah.
And then they kind of got shit.
And then after Conan ended, it was like Carson Daly, and I'd immediately turn off the
Oh,
fucking TV.
yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Carson Daly's just, he's not my cup of tea.
Not for me.
He's not my cup of tea. I forgot.
Kimmel was funny every now and then, but I like Conan was always my go-to, honestly.
Kimmel's okay. Let me tell you who I hate. You know. The other Jimmy.
Oh, Jimmy Fallon?
He's the worst.
That's fair.
He is the worst.
I'm not going to lobby for Jimmy Fallon. Like, he's made me laugh in the past, but by and large, if I see him in something, I'm like, he's all right.
I already told you about the Family Guy thing.
Yeah.
That's how I feel. You're not
Carol Burnett.
Yeah, you're not Carol Burnett, okay? I don't even know who she is, but you're not her, damn it.
Just because she did it, you think you can do it too? You haven't earned what she's earned. Where's that guy who had sex with my daughter?
Oh, man, too much.
Jimmy Fallon just deflowered our daughter on the opening skit of Saturday Night Live. Yeah, a rare miss.
I'm happy you've seen it.
Oh, definitely. I was a young man in the late 90s, early 2000s.
That's fair.
Relatively.
Let's see. So that is it, because largely I was watching the movies. But I like Godzilla. To be fair, Godzilla was okay. He's not my favorite.
That's fair.
He did a lot. He also took a lot of shit. He got his ass kind of whooped.
Yeah.
A lot. Listen, don't get me wrong. Those 3-headed attacks were killing him.
Dude.
And I was just like they were, literally, there was nothing he can do about, they picked him up, flew him into the air, and then dropped him. And I was like,
They threw him off Hell in a Cell, man.
Listen, your stubby little arms can't grab everything.
No.
He wasn't the best monster to me. Honestly, I didn't think I was going to like the Moth, and I was like, okay.
Mothra was kind of cool.
She was kind of legit.
Yeah.
The queen of monsters.
Yeah.
I was like, okay. So I read that apparently Godzilla lore, she is a divine being. Like, that's her thing. This is the first time she has been presented as not, but they still worship her.
Yeah.
And that's why she was like always like,
she came down out of those light beams and shit.
I was like, Superman? I was like, all right, this is getting real.
It's getting a lot worse before it gets
Bring
any better.
back the Godzilla verse. I love it. Restore.
God.
But yeah, so Godzilla's not my favorite. I like the Godzilla movie from 1998 with Ferris Bueller and Hank Azaria Apu. And that's all I know that's in it. I love it.
And then ended on a huge cliffhanger that they never picked up.
It really did.
Yeah.
But it was so good because honestly, Godzilla in that one wasn't like a big beefy monster.
Yeah.
He was kind of more, I don't want to say dragon-esque, but more.
It was a big departure from like the traditional Godzilla design.
Yes, it was. Like his midsection was kind of like skinny. Like he looked more like a crocodile with longer arms.
Yeah, I feel like he was built more like a dinosaur rather than like standing more upright and looking like a big chunky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. That thing. Yeah.
Because Chunky Godzilla was out in this movie. He was out in force.
He was, and that's why I'm like, man, I don't get the appeal because I feel like he can barely move. He can breathe fire great and lightning or whatever that blue shit is.
He can swim fast.
Yeah, that's fine. But he never fights in water.
Not well, apparently.
Like when him and Ghidorah was looking at each other, I was like, okay. And then Ghidorah takes off because they can fly.
Yeah.
Ghidorah, whatever his name is, I don't care. King G. When he takes off, they take off and charge at each other. He takes off flying, and I'm like, okay, cool, they can fly. And then all of a sudden, it was just like Godzilla, like I feel like that's a sound he would make. I don't know.
Someone should be following around with a tuba.
Yeah.
Stop it.
Yeah, same. Speaking of Family Guy, it all comes back full circle. And I'm not trying to hate on Godzilla. I just don't see the appeal.
That's fair.
Of this one, the big chonky Godzilla.
Nope, big chungus Godzilla.
Yeah, it's just that's the name. That's the name I'm looking for.
Yeah.
I don't own animals, so I don't know these nicknames. But yes, that.
Ugh.
Either way, those are my likes.
Okay.
What about for you?
All right. First like.
Sit back.
Charles Dance.
Hey.
Because he's podcast favorite, one of my personal favorite actors, apparently. I don't know what happened in my life that I confused like these three old guys, but I like Charles Dance. I liked him in this because I think he plays a good bad guy. He was good in this.
Oh, yeah.
He was pretty good in Game of Thrones. He's good on the Big Fat Quiz of Everything, which is a hilarious quiz show from the UK, where his bit is he reads celebrity autobiographies or memoirs or whatever. Like he reads excerpts from them, and then the contestants on the quiz have to guess whose memoir it is. Like he doesn't tell you whose it is, but it's usually like just off the wall shit. Like he read something about like, oh, Nick got me a ring pop ring instead of a diamond. I was like, oh, it's Mariah Carey's thing, and it was. And I was like, oh, good for me, and good for you too, Charles Dance.
Good for you for doing that.
Yeah,
because I would have never.
I liked it, but I like Charles Dance. And what I've seen him in, I enjoy him. Next, like all the monsters, same as yours.
Fair.
King Ghidorah could fly, could shoot lightning, ate a power plant to get stronger when Godzilla was kicking his ass in a little bit, and he got so strong from that little snack that Godzilla just got fucked up. Like Godzilla got kicked through like a bunch of buildings and was like sizzling, like smoking after he got fried. So Godzilla couldn't hold a candle in any of the fights. Until the very end of the movie, King Ghidorah beat the shit out of Godzilla every time. Until Godzilla went like red hot, glowing nuclear Godzilla, King Ghidorah was smacking him around. Because like you said, 3 heads were better than 1 in this situation. Because King Ghidorah didn't have arms. It was like Godzilla was coming at the heads with his arms, and Godzilla's head was getting bit in the fucking neck by King Ghidorah's 3rd head because it could just like wrap around him or choke him out or whatever. He had him outclassed in like almost every aspect from the look of it. He was the alpha, so like you couldn't fuck with him until you could.
Yeah, absolutely.
And King Ghidorah was like, "Oh, you're gonna rip my head off? I'm gonna grow back." Oxygen? Who needs it?
Same.
Overrated.
What did I say when it happened? I was like, "Oh, he breathes carbon. Duh, that makes sense."
Yeah, overrated. And the fact that he flew around in a hurricane. Awesome.
Well, he made it.
Yeah.
He made the hurricane.
And then it just like flew around with him. I was like, that's awesome.
That was pretty sweet.
Stand back. There's a hurricane coming through.
Same.
Great. Rodan. Awesome.
Yeah, fire monster.
Oh, that was so cool. Yeah, Moltres pterodactyl coming out of that volcano. Sorry, South America, you're getting fucked up because Rodan was like snatching planes out of the sky. And then they're, oh, let's all get out of here. Let me pull my ejector seat right into its mouth. Yep. Shot right out of the cockpit into that fucker's mouth. I don't even think it moved. It was like,
no,
snatched him up,
didn't.
dead.
I was like, dude.
And the rest of the plane's like, let's get out of here. Starts doing a fucking barrel roll and just like fire spins them all to death. Oh, that was so cool.
Yeah.
And it's chasing the jet. And they're like, oh, let's lead it toward King Ghidorah. And they're like, oh, we're almost there. And like its claws are coming down on the plane. And then it's like, nope. oh, we're in more trouble now because they flew into the fucking hurricane and then King Ghidorah's right in front of them. Like, oh, let's almost die by diving toward the ocean. And then they fought for a second and King Ghidorah's like, you work for me now. And Rodan's like, you got it, boss. And every other monster on Earth was like, same. Let's not get killed by this guy. So Rodan, like, was his sidekick. I thought it looked pretty cool. Mothra was like, I can fly too. I'm going to fight Rodan while Godzilla gets his ass kicked. Mothra came to this fight with seemingly nothing up its sleeve. It could glow, look magical and shit, and then gets pinned down and just impales Rodan through the chest with a stinger.
Yeah.
That we didn't know it had because they didn't show it.
It didn't. Because I thought it was his, like, arm.
Right. Because they showed him, like, scratching at him, like, slashing shit up prior to that. And then it was like, got him.
Yep.
And then they're like, oh, that was cool. And then you're like, oh, surprise, a moth has a fucking stinger the size of, like, a bus. You're not dead. Rodan looked dead.
He was dead.
I thought Rodan was dead until the end of the movie, but, you know.
What do you know?
Not enough.
What do I know? Fair.
Yeah, who knows? Apparently, Rodan can take a fucking spike through the chest and just keep on ticking.
That's fair. Listen, the pterodactyl of fire.
Cool. Honestly.
Let me tell you what Eevee can do.
That and everything else. Except for being a pterodactyl. Next, like, I have to say it because you called me out on it. I was singing the ending credits song, the Blue Oyster Cult song, Godzilla. Like the remix version of it with like the little chants in it. I was digging it. I liked it.
Okay.
I also liked the end credits when they were showing like all the news headlines, like, like tremors around Skull Island, Titans converging on Skull Island, new things showing up at Skull Island, or like this monster went here and now like 17 endangered species are coming back off the list. I thought that was cool, like saying,
go ahead.
Or however many it was, like showing all the like the positives that were coming out because of what, not as much of what Emma did, but mostly because Godzilla saved the day.
Yeah.
And also because of what I can't think of. Dr. Serizawa helped save the day too when he fed Godzilla a nuke and made him super strong. After it didn't work for a little bit, but I mean, it all worked out eventually.
Yeah, there was one that said Titan waste helps something. It was like Titan waste helps grow some kind of plant or something. Yeah. And then right after that, it was like Titan produce new superfood or something like that. And I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it's like people are profiting off of it, as they often do. The rich are probably getting richer. Next, like the end credit scene where Charles Dance, who survived this whole movie somehow, is at, what is it, like a fishing warehouse? Some guys like, we can't fish here anymore. Nothing lives around here right now. He sells him for an undisclosed amount of money one of the severed head, the first head that Godzilla ripped off of King Ghidorah earlier in the movie, and he's like, I'll take it. And I was like, awesome. I feel like I know what's going to come of it. We'll see what happens. I thought it was cool. My last like I'm going to give to Godzilla, because he's a star of the show.
That's fair.
I don't mind that Godzilla's a big chunk, stomping around, tackling people through buildings, knocking shit around, breathing atomic fire. I thought Godzilla looked pretty cool. I liked when the spikes on his back start lighting up, like glowing to like signal that he's powering up to like breathe fucking fire on somebody. I thought that was cool. The Godzilla roar is pretty iconic. Can't be mad at that. And honestly, one of the things I think of when I think Godzilla is Bowser from Super Mario Brothers. And I like Bowser, so I like Godzilla. Even though I know Godzilla's not a big turtle, and there are giant monsters in the universe that are big turtles.
Are there?
Yeah, there's I forget what one of them is. Like, one of them actually kind of looks like Bowser. I mean, and it probably predates Bowser by like a good 30 years. It's like a big turtle with a lot of spikes on it. It kind of looks like a Toka from Secret of the Ooze. But there's another one out there called Gamera that's like a completely different thing. And it might not even be in like the Godzilla verse, but I know there have been crossovers at some point. It like can fly and shit, and it's seen as like a benevolent protector monster type thing, like how Godzilla is seen by some people in this one. Yeah. Apparently, like in the universe of that, everyone in Japan is like, "Oh, look, it's Gamera. It's going to save us from anything," and it usually does. It's just a big ass-kicking turtle that flies around and beats the shit out of. Pick the monster that's attacking Japan for the week, and it'll stomp it into the fucking ground.
That's fair.
But in these, who knows? But those are my likes. It's mostly monsters and Charles Dance.
That's fair. Nothing wrong with that.
And no, I'll throw one out for Ken Watanabe, Dr. Serizawa. I thought he was good. He was Godzilla's biggest fan of this movie.
Yeah.
And he killed himself for him.
Yeah.
He dies to save Godzilla so that Godzilla could save the rest of the world. So I'm going to give him a like.
That's fair.
Because he deserves it.
I can appreciate that. Okay. Dislikes.
Go ahead.
Me?
Yeah.
Okay. First dislike, I wrote, the audacity of the humans. I hate human beings. They were the worst part of last movie. They're the worst part of this movie. Just the worst. Like, so we see them in that. Literally, it was the first thing I wrote was my dislikes. Mm-hmm. And I was like, okay. We see her making bacon and all this other stuff, and then it's like, Code Red, come out. And then they come out, and then it's like, oh, they're in like a little trailer kind of, what are those things that are on trucks? Shipping container kind of thing. And I was like, okay, cool. That's where they at. Okay, they're in like some observatory. Oh, it's a monster they're keeping. Hey, it's waking up, and we're trying to stop it, and it won't. And I was like, fucking audacity. Of course it would. Why would you think this would be okay? And then it kills some people, and they're like, oh my god, we don't know what to do. Let's put the protective barrier that we built just for this thing around it. That didn't work. Oh no.
Yeah, it's malfunctioning.
What are we going to do? The protective barrier that's going to harbor this 200-foot monster broke easily. Paper thin. What are we going to do? And then Dr. Emma stupid-ass Russell goes, I got it. And walks out to the monster. And I'm like...
After the 6 dudes with, like, lightning guns get thrown around.
The fucking audacity. And I was like, well... And at that point, I didn't even... I disliked her, but not even for the bullshit she was pulling.
Well, humanity's doomed, and rightfully so.
Right. Because so I wrote the audacity of the humans... And then the next dislike, the ex-wife. I didn't even give her a name. I said the ex-wife because there was a scene where the husband, Mark, was trying to save his daughter. And honestly, she could have got a dislike too. But he was like, come with me because you got kidnapped and you're scared.
Yeah.
Hey guys, come with me. And she goes, no, I'm gonna stick with Mom. Yeah. And then Mom picks up the fucking detonator to release King G.
Yep.
And presses the button, and I was like,
psych.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't like it. I was like, this is dumb. You're an idiot. Also, 11. Go with your dad.
Right.
Because, and then it turns out that she's in cahoots with the people that kidnapped her.
Yeah.
Kidnapped. They definitely killed all the scientists that were working on the thing.
They definitely did. They shot that dude in the head in front of her. They killed all of them.
And she's like, I'm scared too. No, you're not. You're in cahoots with these people. You're gaslighting your daughter. And it's like, dude, can you not? You're just bullshit.
I know you're scared. Go in the other room so me and the terrorists can talk.
Yeah. And then when her daughter's like, you're kind of bullshit. And she was like, I had to do what I had to do. And then she's like, you said you're doing this for Andrew, which is the dead son, her brother. Mm-hmm. And she goes, well, Andrew would have wanted this? And she goes, no. I'm like, no. Say it loud like you were saying the rest of that shit. Idiot. So that was my next dislike. And I was like, ugh. And then my third dislike. Honestly, all these have to do with the wife. My third dislike was her reasoning for being with the terrorists was just as shit as you said, and then I kind of understood. So it wasn't that it was just shitty. It was shitty, but she didn't have all the information. And I was like, okay, like, oh, these monsters are going to protect us and blah, blah. And it's like, okay, what happened at San Francisco? And since I didn't watch the other Godzilla, I'm assuming they did what all humans do. Hey, we don't know what it is. Let's shoot it and find out. And I'm assuming that's why he attacked San Francisco. Because what else would it be?
Godzilla? Well, I think those Muto monsters were attacking, and he protected as best as a giant fucking monster can in a crowded city by stomping all over it.
Yeah.
As well as the city.
What's a Muto monster?
I think that's what those like bug-looking things were. There was one at the end.
I didn't see that one.
I think it was in like some of the video things that they were showing in the movie, and I think they referenced it in Kong Skull Island because they called it like, oh shit, what do they call it? Monstrous, undiscovered terrestrial organism or something.
Sounds good.
Or unnamed terrestrial organism. Yeah, they were like big gray, like they had like six. They said that was the one that you said looked like the bugs from Starship Troopers.
Oh, that was the big one that was on.
Or was that the crab one?
Yeah, no, not the crab. It was the one right after that because they had like little pincers at the end of their mouths, and they kind of looked like the bug. But that was on this one. That was on.
But I think those were also in the first one. I think there was like a couple of them in the first one, if I remember right. Because I remember watching the first one, I was like, these aren't the cool monsters.
Oh, well, yeah, because, okay, so the one I'm talking about that I saw on the King of Monsters, it bowed at the end of the movie.
Yeah. Yeah, it was Rodan, the one that looked like a mammoth with no trunk.
Yeah.
The crab ththing, and that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that one, it was like two of those were the enemy in the first one, if I remember right.
Okay.
Because it was just like another one.
That's fair. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, either way.
If I remember correctly, which I might not be.
But, yeah, I just felt like I get it. All the monsters can coexist. I don't know how. I'm interested in seeing how they coexist with the humans.
Right.
That's an interesting situation.
I'm like, maybe they go into their Hollow Earth homes for a good portion of time and like pop out every now and then.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know.
I mean, that's fair. Also, yeah, I like her. Like when she had a PowerPoint presentation available, and she was like, "Look at San Francisco after life comes," and I'm like she had me a little bit. I was like, okay, but you killed people first,
yeah,
and like you did all this without talking. Like it just,
yeah, I
get it. But if you'd have came with the same PowerPoint presentation at the beginning, maybe people wouldn't understand. Because I did. Maybe. I was like, okay, I get it. It's still shitty.
Yeah, it's still not a great idea.
Because just like, every villain, they're always like, hey, I was thinking Thanos. Yeah. They're like, hey, we got to kill half of you guys to save the planet. And it's like, okay, that's fair. But also...
who decides the half?
And I here's the thing. I understand why people like Thanos. And they're like, hey, he kind of... It was unbiased. And I'm like, okay, fair. Also, can it not be me? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like
he didn't get snapped.
No, which would have been hilarious. I saw a thing about that. Like, what if it was him? And then somebody was like, well, that's okay because he said it was unbiased. And I'm like, well, it's fair too.
I want to be like, oh, what if it was one of his kids? Well, they were all fucking dead already at that point.
I mean, at that point. So yeah, those are my dislikes.
That's fair.
Did you have any?
I had a couple. First dislike was too much mom and dad drama. And I get that you need the people to push the story along to an extent, because I guess it can't be just 2 hours of giant monsters pummeling the shit out of each other.
Or could it?
And I don't know, man. In this instance, no, unfortunately. Because, like, Godzilla loses his first fight. Then Ghidorah flies off to wake up the next monster. And then Godzilla shows up to get his ass kicked again. There's like quite a bit of stuff exposition-wise in between there.
Fair.
And if it's just like, oh man, got like 30 minutes of Godzilla just laying there, like, oh, fuck.
Fuff.
You want the big dog? You want the big dog, huh? And then he like picks himself up, dusts himself off, swims to South America, gets his ass kicked again.
He's not great.
Yeah, like, and that's my next dislike. Unfortunately, is Godzilla. As much as I liked Godzilla in this movie, he got his ass kicked a lot.
Yeah, fair.
And
wait, did you have him as like and a dislike?
Yes, I have him for both.
I like that
because I like that he was getting shit done in fights, but he also wasn't.
Yeah, he wasn't.
Just like a certain Jedi Master with a green lightsaber who is short of stature.
Oh, Yoda?
Yeah, like when he was getting it done, he was getting it done, but when he wasn't, he wasn't.
When was he getting it done?
Exactly. Okay. When he was catching Force Lightning, knocking people out, chopping people's heads off.
He also got hit with Force Lightning. And
that too.
Took a blow.
When he was throwing the fucking Senate chairs at people, awesome. When Godzilla was melting the city by walking through it, awesome.
That was pretty sweet.
When Ghidorah was about to eat that kid, and Godzilla like punched it in the chest with some fucking nuclear fire breath, awesome.
That was great.
When Mothra flew in and Spider-Man Ghidorah's heads to the building, and Godzilla just like put his head down and ran through him, awesome. When everything else happened to Godzilla, he got his ass beat. Ghidorah was like thunderbolting his ass. He was getting choked. He got choke slammed from the top of Hell in the Cell. He got wrapped up by Ghidorah at the end, and it was just like biting the shit out of him right before he started going nuclear. And I just thought he was just dying at that point because he was like starting to glow red. I was like, oh, his health is low. He's starting to flash. That's how you know. And like
Scott Pilgrim.
Yeah, like every arcade beat him up. When you start flashing, you're gonna die. I was like, Godzilla's health is getting low. One good hit with a bat or something, and Godzilla's going down.
I'm what's hot. I'm what's blowing up right now.
Yes, you are blowing up right now. And he fucking pumped his head off. Okay, yeah, Godzilla got K'd the F.O.
He did.
A few times.
A couple times. He had to be resurrected a couple times.
Godzilla had to get brought back to life by the mother boxes, Lazarus pits, nuclear warheads, whatever means you want to talk about. Godzilla had to get brought back. Agreed. And, I get it. I mean, it's kind of happened, and it does happen a lot in a lot of like hero type movies. Hero meets the villain kicks the hero's ass. Hero comes back stronger eventually.
Same.
The villain kicked the hero's ass like 3 times in this movie before he eventually got his power up and came back too strong for the enemy to handle. Ghidorah beat him in the Antarctic, beat him in South America, / the ocean, beat him in Boston before Godzilla's big comeback in Boston. Because he came back strong. They're like, oh, whatever Serizawa did to him's got him juiced. He's looking strong. And he still lost the first round of the final fight. Yeah. So, like, Godzilla, I get you can't win them all. But Godzilla lost all of them. You gotta win some.
Can't win them all.
Just like we talked about with Yoda. You gotta win some. Otherwise, you start losing some credibility.
Think about it. I was thinking about this when you said this about Yoda. Yoda won when it was people who didn't know the Force.
Clone troopers.
Yeah, clone troopers.
Yeah.
Robots.
Trees.
Same.
Old trees they can just set on fire.
Picking up ships.
Arsonists.
The Jedi techs.
Yeah.
Blowing it all up.
Giggling all the way. Crazy old bastard. Godzilla was not laughing at all in this movie. Godzilla was all business. And
still got his ass whooped.
Business was booming.
To him.
Business of getting his ass beat. Mm-hmm. But he won eventually, which, every hero does, usually. But, like, all the monsters bowed to him at the end, which was fine. So he was king of the monsters. Until the next one, when he fights Kong. King is in his name. In his full name. His first name is King.
Same.
So that's already gonna... Maybe that's why they start fighting. Maybe.
I'm laughing. It's
King
funny.
of the Ring, Kong. I don't know.
Here's what I think. Sorry, go ahead.
No, that's it.
You know what they're dislikes?
Dumb joke. Same, but I'm going to go back to the people.
No, go ahead.
There's a lot more of people talking, and as much as there was monster fighting, I could always do with more of it.
Fair.
I could always do with more of it.
If we just saw more of the other monsters kind of getting down, or maybe fighting each other, fighting.
Yeah, because at the very end, like, those 4 monsters are just like, oh, they're tearing up random cities. And then you don't see them until Godzilla has won the fight, and then they're right in front of him. They're like, all right, we work for you now.
Fair.
And they all like kind of lower their heads, and Godzilla's like, "That's right." Ah!
Yeah, heavens expansion. Find it out.
And yeah, those are my dislikes.
Aggressive expansion. I was gonna say something. I forgot what it was. I think it was. Okay, dislikes over.
Yes.
We'll go to Slushie Meter in a second.
Okay.
I haven't seen any other trailers for Godzilla King Kong. Or Kong, whatever.
Other than the first one?
Other than the first one.
Same.
I know nothing about it.
I'm trying to not see anything else.
I had to look up, because you're telling me how big Godzilla was.
Mm-hmm.
So I was reading something and it said how big he was versus Ghidorah.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, let me see how big King Kong was. So I decided to look it up, and I was like, I'm only going to look at the number and I'm going to click off. I didn't see anything else.
Okay.
It said 2021, and I was like, click, X, out of here. Ghidorah is 300 something feet tall. Godzilla's 296.
Okay.
Something like that, 2 something.
So Ghidorah's 7 foot tall and Godzilla's 6'11". Got it. They're like just
No. It was like 3 something.
Okay.
Like maybe 350 or whatever, but it was a lot. It was a lot more. Mm-hmm. But I mean, they were pretty close in height, though, to be fair.
But I mean, like if the necks were like all the way up, God knows.
Yeah. So, and then Godzilla was like 290 something, 296, I believe. I could be wrong on all that, though. Mm-hmm. And I looked up King Kong and it said 101.
Yeah.
I was like,
as of the end of Kong Skull Island.
I think so.
Because in the trailers for the next one, they're the same height.
I don't think so.
Or it's damn close. They're just about the same height, if I remember right.
Maybe you might be right. I don't remember.
I could be wrong, but because they say in Kong Skull Island that he's still growing.
Yeah, they do say that.
So I feel like by the next one, I think they are almost the same size.
Okay, that's fair. Like I said, I don't.
But also, King Kong's packing. He's got a fucking axe in the next one.
Oh. Okay. So, what do you think? Okay, here it goes. Okay, Godzilla is noticeably taller than he was in the first movie. I'm reading this.
Godzilla?
That's what it says.
Okay.
It said, which leads to the belief that he is truly evolving. In this film, he stands 393 feet. While in Godzilla, he stood 355 feet. Mm-hmm. Okay, so that was that. But there was something that said something about how big Ghidorah was, and he was bigger. Well, at least I thought. Maybe I read that wrong. So he's 393 feet. So even more than what I thought. Yeah. I knew it was 90 something.
So he's almost 4 times the size, or the height at least, of Kong. According to those numbers, at least.
Basically. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so the one lady, Dr. Chen, so she was saying I was born into Monarch or whatever. So they have pictures of her, and I'm just reading that it was all her. There were nobody else.
Oh, like she was every person in those photos?
Yeah, it says she plays Dr. Chen, her twin sister, as well as her mother, aunt, grandmother, and great aunt in the photos.
Dang.
What kind of Eddie Murphy movie is this? This is ridiculous.
Saving money on those extras.
See, I'm going to say it off air.
Uh-oh.
Anyway, so while I look this up, let's go to Slushie Review. How about it?
Okay.
You go first.
Okay.
5 again? Wow, that's crazy.
Who said that? No. Okay, for this one, I'm going to give this one, I'm going to give it a 3.75.
Wow, nice.
I enjoyed it. It wasn't, honestly, it would have been a 4 but there were some parts that kind of dragged for me.
Yeah.
And it was mostly the human parts.
Yeah.
Where it was like, you killed my son's dead because of Godzilla. All the goofy shit that didn't need to be in there.
I love it.
Because at a certain point, they were just saying it over and over again. They're like, oh, my son's dead. My son's dead. we're divorced. Your ex-wife's a bitch. Oh, no, that was us. Your ex-wife just doomed all humanity. Oh, that was us again, too.
Fair.
And I know everybody doesn't have great ideas all the time, but I've thought that some of the plot in the movie was a little hinky and could have been better. And some of it was very slow moving for me.
I agree.
So I'm going to say 3.75.
I listen, I agree with you. So I kind of got off track trying to figure out how tall these people were. I was going to ask you, being that there's a height discrepancy, and I found it, by the way. Mm. So King Kong is 100 and something feet. I knew that. I looked that up. So it says at 521 feet, King Ghidorah is the tallest, largest monster in the film.
Yeah. Godzilla
is 393 feet. And then next up is Rodan at 154 feet. And then Mothra is only 52 feet.
Yeah, Mothra was like tiny compared to some of them.
So literally King Kong is like number 4 on this list, because he's not bigger than Rodan either. Mm. So what I was going to say was, now you said they look alike in look the same height in trailers, which I know they said they're still growing. But looking at Godzilla and how kind of shitty he was and whatnot, I don't see how he can win.
See, I at first had the opposite thought. I was like, Godzilla's huge compared to King Kong, and he breathes nuclear fire.
Yes.
But then I was like, you know what? After watching King Kong beat the shit out of those other monsters, I was like, there's a reason Bowser goes down to Mario every time, and it's not because he's got infinite lives.
Same.
He fucking runs circles around him and just like grab his ass and throw him in a circle.
Yeah, no, and I agree, and that's why I'm like, man. And now I'm actually kind of rooting for him now.
Yeah, I mean, doesn't mean I think Mario's cooler than Bowser, because he's not. Bowser's way cooler to me than Mario. Just like I still like the character of Godzilla more than I like King Kong.
That's fair.
Just because I've seen more cool like interpretations of Godzilla versus like the one really cool King Kong in the last movie.
Yeah.
I still have more of like a not that I have like a huge stake in the outcome of this movie, of the Versus movie.
I'm invested now.
Like, I'm invested, but I'm not. It's not to me something that I've like waited my whole life for this. Because apparently they made one in like the 60s or 70s.
Yeah.
And I didn't know about that, because to show you how much I was interested in it. I didn't really care about these individual movies until they announced the Versus movie. Because I was like, okay, let's see it. Let's see them go at it. And I still want to say the smart money is probably, I gotta say it's probably on Kong at this point, because if they're the same size, which they look in the trailer, and Kong has a weapon, I don't see him going down. But I also, apparently the director or whoever said that someone in that movie wins. That to me does not mean one of them's gonna die.
Facts.
It to me just means one of them wins versus the other one. I feel like something else is gonna happen in the movie that they're gonna have to team up against. Yeah. Because it's going to be Batman versus Superman.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
And Wonder Woman's going to show up and get in the next, and probably in a trailer already. She shows up and Godzilla looks at King Kong, is like, "Is she with you?" Like she was.
Going on far too long. Same, roar. Exactly.
Yeah, I feel like there's going to be something bigger and badder that they're going to have to team up against, and then maybe afterwards, King Kong sucker punches Godzilla like the Hulk does to Thor in Avengers.
That's fair. Okay, so my Slushie meter 3.5. That was my first thing when I thought about it, and that's what I'm going with.
Okay.
I think Godzilla's largely boring as a monster. Everyone else was so much better, even all of them. Rodan, I like Rodan better because he looks like a Pokemon. That was sweet. He came out.
He looks like a Pokemon.
He literally came out of a volcano, and I was like, "What? Yeah. That's a rare Pokemon."
King Ghidorah looked like a fucking menace in this movie.
He was a badass.
It was awesome.
He was pretty sweet.
Posed on that mountain in front of that lowercase T.
He did.
For Time to Go, man.
3.5 is where I'm going.
That was a cross. A cross from what?
Yeah, there it is.
Ayo.
Oh, Christ. Hey, Superman. Anyway, let's see. So that's it. Yeah. That was Godzilla, King of Monsters. Pretty good movie. Yeah. Not bad.
Wasn't bad. I enjoyed it.
Leads us directly into Godzilla vs. Kong.
I would imagine.
Which comes out on HBO Max.
A few days.
3/31. We will be reviewing it next.
Yes.
So stay tuned. That's it, honestly.
Yeah.
You got anything else?
No.
Okay. If not, I guess we can go ahead and get out of here. Sounds like a plan.
Yeah.
Let's see. So next week, like I said, Godzilla vs. King Kong. Something I forgot to mention. Rate and review us. We are on YouTube. Just search Slushie Review. Also on Twitter at Slushie Review. And Instagram, which hasn't been updated in weeks. Go ahead and follow us there as well. And subscribe on YouTube. We now have...
I have.
3. Chris has. I tried.
Doesn't count, apparently.
It doesn't.
I think that's a little biased.
Yeah, a little bit. I can't vote for myself. Even presidents can.
I'm pretty sure that's illegal.
Whether they mail them in or not. Right. Listen.
I voted for you.
I
voted for myself. Man. Leslie, I'm pretty sure that's illegal.
Hello, Paul. But other than that, man, we're going to get out of here. This has been Keith.
And Chris.